Have you ever thought about how your grip affects the control of your golf club?
A lot of people will check this position halfway and realise that their right hand is quite significant.
And I'm talking about the thickness of your grips on your golf club. John Daly, a golfing legend, and Bryson Dechambeau believe that all amateurs should have the thickest, yes, the thickest grips you can handle in order to get more control, more distance, and the thing we're all looking for, consistency. So I want to test this theory. I've got a club golfer, Jonathan, and I want to see if it gives him more control, more distance, or should we just stick with the grips that we currently have?
No, this is really interesting now.
Get fitted with your grip, not your clubs. So go get fitted for grips. Nobody does that. Nobody does.
Like I've got no shoes on.
Yeah. I think the bigger the grip is, the better you're going to play.
So the bigger the grip, the better you're going to play. We're going to test that theory today, which is really, really interesting. When we're talking about a great of the game, and Bryson, the way he's going, is going to be a great too, both using thicker grips. And I think more of this is the fact that we're never really told about getting fitted for our grips. It's more down, get fit for your clubs. Now, Jonathan, John Daly and Bryson, this video's gone absolutely viral. It's got over 300,000 likes on. He says you should get fitted for your grips, not just your golf clubs. He actually says get fitted for your grips, not your golf clubs. Now, what's really interesting is I don't think many golfers have ever considered getting fitted for your grips. Now, this is on our teaching channel. It's really important that we speak about this because we're talking about controlling that golf club. Yeah. So we've got a few here, but actually, have you ever, what grips are you using? You've got yours here.
I'm guessing standard with 1 or 2 layers of tape. I wouldn't know. They were bought off eBay.
Yeah, so. Lambkin, and they are standard. I don't want to take these off, but they're Lambkin and they're standard. But after watching that video I've just shown you, what are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting because from even sort of like watching golf club fitting videos where, you know, even when you've gone to Scottsdale and got fitted, have they ever talked to you about grips? They've
gone more down the route of what grips do I like. Yeah. So I go, I have 2 layers of tape and I use a standard grip. That's it.
But then that's just what you use. So they're not, you know, they're not necessarily asking you, well, have you tried bigger grips, smaller grips?
I completely agree.
And then if you don't know and never tried, how would you know if what works for you or not? So I guess that's what we're here to find out.
It's actually a hard thing to do, isn't it? Because changing your grips is quite a big task.
Yeah.
So I've got a few different ones here. This is a standard lambkin with 1 layer of tape. This is a standard lambkin with 2 layers of tape. And then we're more bothered about trying this, okay? So let me just explain, right? So what he's sort of saying here, John Daly, is that as we take this club back, you'll see a lot of people will check this position halfway and realise that their right hand is quite significantly off the club, and even sometimes their left hand. So there's that gap coming. If we have this re-grip, how can we play good golf? It's hard. Now, the reason why I go for thinner grips on my shorter clubs is that I don't really tend to play long shots with these. So having then something that's a little bit longer, your right hand and your left hand are easier to have full contact with that club. So let's have a little look at this. So go on, you let's go thin first.
Yeah, work our way up.
And you grab them there. I think it's a really interesting thing. We're looking at this in terms of, is it going to help us play better golf? I think that this is a really big thing in terms of some wisdom from a very, very knowledgeable golfer. And I think what's cool with this is it comes from Bryson, who is known as like a bit of a boffin. Yeah. But then also from a guy that's not really known as a boffin, but a very, very talented. And why I use the word talented is that he's not what you'd count as a picture perfect swing, just pure raw talent of a golfer in John Daly. Okay, how's that feel?
Pretty normal, really.
Just make that position halfway back. Let's have a little look at this to see if your hands are full in contact. And if you start wearing out your glove here as well, this might be something that would be good for you as well.
So I've got a fresh glove on, so you won't be able to cheat and find out.
But look at this here, right? You've got a bit of a gap.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, according to John Daly, this is going to make it, well, he says you can't swing the golf club this way, but he's a bit blunt about it, if I'm honest. Okay, so let's go a little bit thicker. Let's go to the next one. And then we are going to hit some shots with that big, thick one. And let's see if this is any better. So I really want everybody to check this, and during this video I will give you some advice on what is the right grip thickness, because it's different for everybody, and how I want you to start gauging this. Okay, so it's a little bit closer, isn't it? Yep. Okay, these fingers are a little closer, a little bit more in. Now, what I'm really interested in right now is if we go and grab the thickest grip, What are your thoughts? Now, this has been swing weighted. Straight away, tell me, you don't even swing it back. What does it feel like?
It feels like I've got a putter in my hand. with the big fat super stroke grip.
I'm really tempted, and honestly tempted to put it on all of them. Okay, so can we see how our hands are more in contact with this club? What does that feel like to you?
It feels different, but I kind of get the method in the madness is to, you know, I do feel like I've got a good connection
With the club.
with the club.
I like it. Look at these fingers here. You've got more of the fingers on the club, whereas if you stay there, Jonathan, and I'll sort of demonstrate so people can see this. If you looked at your right hand there before, your fingers were sort of here. They weren't really on the club, were they? They were pressing into here. Whereas now, look.
Yeah, so it's all the contact is on.
So we've got no gap, have we?
No.
And I've seen a lot of people go with those MCC +4 grips, which is thicker. So let's get into some shots. Let's move over here. I'm really interested to see what you think, because we're looking at this technically, and if you've got a good grip, I always bang on about this and go, if you've got a good grip, you can actually play some good golf, in the sense of we can then control that club through that release. And these are such a big deal of how we hit a good shot. I'm really intrigued to see how you hit some of these.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an element of it feeling weird, but let's go. Let's see. Oh!
Sign me up.
What a golf shot! So for reference, you play 20, what's 20?
20.8.
20.8.
So 21.
So, like, I think this is almost, you're starting fresh, you're 3.5 years into playing golf. If someone said to you straight away, that's the grips you use, and that's what I recommend for you to get fitted for, then...
I think with a lot of golfers, I think it depends on when you took the game up and what you're used to.
Yeah.
Things with like top lines, offsets, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like for me, as a relatively new to golf, still working on things, still trying to improve, putting a fat grip on a club, yeah, it feels different and it feels unusual, but there's nothing in my head to say this is wrong.
Yeah.
Same with like a fat top line or big offset. Whereas for you, who's played the game for 20 years,
yeah,
and at a time when sort of like you get to a better player and you're playing sort of blades and stuff,
yeah,
you're all about thin blade length, thin top line, and then giving you grips that you've so much bigger than you've played for 20 years. That's going to feel completely wrong.
I think it's a great analogy. It's what you're used to. Beautiful strike.
There we go.
Really nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Really good swing. I like it. So, if we have a little bit of advice here, and what I really want people to have a look at right now, and I think, to be honest, I'm going to have to take a bit of this advice myself, based upon John Daly. I think there's some real method in this. Like, I've started to notice that a lot more people are coming to me with those MCC +4 grips, so a little bit thicker, but there's a few little gauges. So when you're gripping stuff, you want to make sure that your fingers are just touching here. So you notice on this hand here, so actually, look how yours can still just touch.
Yeah.
So it's a lot thicker than what you're using right now.
Yeah.
So it could be fair to say that your hands are probably sort of going round this too much, so they're sort of smothering the club. Yeah. Then I'd echo that same feeling where your fingers are all on that club on the right hand as well. That's what I really think. So for me, I think I need to go a little bit thicker based on this advice from John Daly. And I really do think there's some wisdom in this, in the sense of it helps you have more control of the club. Let's hit a couple more shots here. Yeah. Now, if people got arthritis, I would always say this is a good one as well. Yeah. You could also go, I mean, would you say these are quite firm, these, aren't they? This is actually an exact grip of Bryson. So he went down to Scottsdale at the Open when I was at Royal Liverpool, and he actually left some grips there because they redid all his clubs during there. So this is actually the ones, whereas you can get spongier ones. If you've got arthritis, that would dampen the vibrations as well. Okay, let's hit another one. I think you look really good with this thicker grip. What a golf shot! That little baby draw.
Yeah.
Are you surprised how good you're hitting it with a thicker grip?
I am, because like I said, you would never even think of having them really unless someone puts them in your hand. I think if you just get asked the question, or what grips do you have, you're always going to have the same grips.
Because that's all you've ever known.
Because that's all you've ever known.
So do you think what are you saying here, there is some...
I
get fit for your grips is really important?
Yeah, I definitely think there's something in this.
And going thicker than you probably think is the way to go about.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I really do.
It takes a lot of the manipulation out of it.
Yeah. Now this is the extreme. This is really thick, but you could just go a jumbo grip, or you could go a large grip, or even a mid-size with more layers of tape. So let me just read out to you what John Daly has. I have to write it down because it's quite a long thing. So John Daly uses an oversized Super Stroke S-Tech Club corded grips. Listen to this, with 6 wraps underneath. So like significantly thicker than standard grips. And I keep reiterating this. He says golfers should go for the thickest grip they can possibly put in their hands, where they're all connected to the club. So at the top, it's much better. Okay, one more shot. Actually, I think I want to have a go with this. Yeah. I want to see how thick this is and how it feels. You've had a full house here of good shots. Let's hit another one. Ah! Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Jonathan's going, I know what you're doing after we finish filming today.
Straight to Scottsdale.
To get some new grips. It's weird because I really do feel like my whole hand is, it feels too big in my left, is what I would say, because going on that advice where I said these fingers want to touch, it feels too big in this hand for me. But then in this right hand, I feel like I've got real like control of it. Yeah. Which is a weird sensation. Right, let's hit a shot in here. Oh, I left it a little bit open. It feels so bizarre to me, that. I think because I'm just thinking, I don't know what to do with the face there. I need another one. I need another one. I think going through my head there was, how do I release the club a little bit? Because now I've got more of my hands on the club than I ever had before, and I sort of left it open. What you would tend to see, what the old advice would be, is that if you had a thick grip, you would tend to see the face be open. Yeah. What the other old bit of advice would be, if the grip was too thin, it would give you overactive hands, and you would tend to miss it left. But based on what he's saying, it's not really the case. Right, okay, here we go. Let's hit a better shot here.
There you go.
That was ripped. Definitely more fade bias than I would be normally. Yeah. I'm feeling. But I think maybe that's a bit too extreme for me, if I'm honest. But going mid-size, not standard, with 3 layers of tape, watch this space. So we thinking? Bit of wisdom there?
Yeah, definitely. I think next time I get, if I get new clubs, I'm definitely gonna get them to give me the different options and to try.
And I would always try the thickest one you possibly can, and then work down, not work up. Yeah. Thanks for watching.